Schmoes Know presents HorrorFlix, a podcast covering all things horror, suspense, and psychological thrillers in the world of cinema. And now, here are your hosts, Cobbster and Cody.
What is going on, horror fans? Welcome back to another episode of HorrorFlix, where we talk all things scary movies, boobies, and feet fetishes. I am one of two hosts, Cobbster, and I'm joined here with my good friend. Let me build you up, man. You haven't been here in a while. He's a good friend. He's skinny as shit. I've only known him for like a couple of months. Just kidding. It's been like a little over a year now. And he is my partner in crime, my Robin to my Batman. I missed him for a week, 2 weeks almost, because we didn't have an episode last week. Yeah. I want to pump him up because he's the greatest thing that has ever happened to like white people, and that is the one and only Cody Hall.
Good God, how do I live up to that introduction right there?
Never.
That's
you never will.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to be back here.
Yes.
At the old stomping ground, as I call it.
The old stomping ground.
AKA your kitchen.
My kitchen. My kitchen, not my parents, because I don't live with my parents.
Oh, of course.
Kind of loser,
lives
with his parents. Anyways, so yeah, guys, it's been a week. We didn't do an episode last week. We got really busy with D23 going on. Cody just had his first kid. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's black, right?
It is black.
Yeah, that's great.
An old uncle I had was African American.
Is that true?
No, it's not true.
Oh, okay. To say, I was like, shit. I feel
cool
bad.
If it was,
I was like,
no.
motherfucker, why don't you say anything? So yes, we welcome back Cody. Thank you guys so much for listening to the last episode that we had with Alicia Malone and Mark Ellis.
It, man. I was listening to that. I'm like, these guys are so much better than me. Oh my God,
fucking professionals, right?
Yeah.
Like these goddamn professionals. They actually know what they're doing.
We're eating pizza on our show.
Yeah,
and annoying everybody.
I got
they're knocking it out of the park.
As Ken, like at the whiskey here, like Ken.
Whiskey?
No, it's actually Coke.
Okay, I got water. It's okay. We're not exactly.
I never understood that. Like I don't mind whiskey, but mixing it with Coke, why ruin a good Coke?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
That's the only way I can have whiskey. I can't drink it straight. I'm a pussy.
Oh, I'm a soda enthusiast.
Okay.
And you don't mix.
Those exist.
Those do exist. Okay. It exists. Mr. Pibb is the greatest soda of all time. Oh. You don't mix. I don't get it.
You don't mix.
I don't understand it.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you guys for listening to that. But Cody,
man, how are you gonna segue that into horror? That's gonna be funny.
Cody, the Coke monster. I don't know. I don't need a segue. I'm just gonna fucking do it.
It's your show.
It's our show.
Our show.
Ours.
No, you were leading it right now. That's what I'm saying. It's your segue.
Oh, okay. Where are we going with this?
Where are we going? You were pointing at me, and then
I was pointing at you because I miss you, man. I haven't talked to you. We don't carpool anymore to the Schmoes Know Movie Show. How have you been?
I wish we could carpool.
I wish we could too.
I'm so sick of driving there.
I'm so bored.
Hour and a half by myself.
I'm so bored singing to myself as opposed to singing with you. Anyway, Taking Back Sunday. What have you been up to?
I haven't been up to much. I saw a couple movies. Straight Outta Compton. Awesome. Not a
horror
movie.
Straight Outta Compton.
Not gonna talk about here.
Motherfucker named Ice Cube.
But I saw The Gift, which not really is a horror movie.
Thriller. I mean,
I think it was marketed as one.
I think we can categorize it in all the, because we don't talk just horror. You know, it's psychological thrillers, suspense thrillers, anything that kind of, gets us a little worked up and a little scared. Yeah. Because there's definitely elements of horror in this. It's kind of like a throwback to 1990s suspense thrillers.
I just haven't seen a movie like this with this basic of a story just told this well in such a long time. This
absolutely.
is really cool.
And for Joel Edgerton's first directorial debut, really good stuff. Good actual suspenseful moments. There's like one jump scare with a dog. Jumps out. Of course, that's going to happen. But I mean, it's his first time.
There's one jump scare that they did perfectly, though.
I'm trying to think which one.
I don't want to just. Oh, well.
Okay. Don't. Yeah.
I'll go like this.
Yes, that was good. That was really good because it was
people
built
listening
up.
Have no idea what I did.
He did a hand motion. I knew exactly what you're talking about. Actually, I thought the monkey thing. I thought they were gonna do something a little bit more like. Okay, so towards the end, they open up. So what this movie is, it's basically Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall. They're a couple. They move into this new house, and they come across Joel Edgerton, who is a dude that Jason Bateman went to high school with. And so you learn things throughout the movie, but
about their past.
And Joel Edgerton sends them these gifts all throughout the movie, and they keep opening it, and so that's why the movie's called The Gift. And Jason Bateman's character is like afraid of monkeys for some reason.
Phobia.
They didn't really deal with it too much, but at one point, even in like the smallest little package that they got, I thought a monkey was gonna jump out.
An actual, like a tiny baby.
Yeah, just start throwing shit all over him. I thought that throughout that would be so funny. I thought that was gonna be the twist, like Joel Edgerton was a monkey the whole time or something like that.
It's like a DVD of Planet of the Apes.
Damn you!
Damn it!
Damn you, assholes! Absolutely, but for his first directorial debut, I just like I was watching this and I was like, this guy needs to direct something scary. Give this guy a Halloween movie or a Friday the 13th or something like that, because it's good. He has some good dread and some good tension that I think he can add to horror films. So hopefully, Joe. I mean, it's a first movie.
Good old
golf
clap for you,
golf
buddy.
clap, golf clap.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well
so
done.
that's what you've been up to.
That's what I've been.
You been watching anything else?
I watched a movie on Netflix called Faults.
Faults.
That's
I've
another
heard of
one.
this.
It's not scary per se, but for some reason on Netflix, I believe it has a horror tag on there. Not sure why. It's about cults.
Oh,
I know that's going right up your alley.
All right, I'm cute. That's going up my ass. I'm queuing
that's
that
going right up
tonight.
your ass.
That's going right up my ass.
It's pretty good. I like it a lot. I'm not going to say too much about it because I think
Faults.
it's fun if you go in blind.
Okay.
It's a good time. I like
Cool.
Faults a lot.
You know what I've been hearing a lot about too is this zombie Australian horror film, Wormwood. I'm hearing a lot of good stuff about this one. One of my buddies, Mitch, he referred it to me, and Mitch. And I need to check it out. But if you guys out there have seen it, let me know what you think. I think I'll check it out this week. I've got time.
Okay. Fair enough.
I saw Sinister 2.
Okay.
That was a thing.
Okay.
It's a sequel.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. What happened? What went wrong with Sinister? Did you like the first one?
I did.
Okay,
I like for the most part this.
Okay.
I'd say the first two halves of the movie of the
first
three.
one?
Of the first movie, I liked a lot more than the third act.
Okay.
Obviously, I think adding someone like Ethan Hawke to a movie like this brings it a lot of weight because it was emotionally he was definitely the best part about the movie. He carried it. The scares are actually really great. The best part about the first Sinister was the film reels that he actually watched of the families getting murdered. This
literal found footage.
Actual found footage.
Yeah,
it's
found.
A great way of mixing found footage with live action because that's something
great job in the first movie.
That's something that I think not a lot of people have actually done, but of the ones that I've seen, like The Fourth Kind, doesn't really play out that well.
Yeah.
So, with this one, it's just, it has a good build-up. I like the first act of the movie. It sets up the characters really well. At the start, the twins, because it features twins, and then the mom, they're kind of like the next target family.
Yeah.
They start off really well because there's a whole backstory of them running away from the father because he's trying to gain custody of them, and it's really cool. The mom and the two kids have these cool dynamic. She's like, what do I say? What happens when I say this secret code word? And then they say run, but they're twins, so it's fucking cool. They say it together. They're like run, all together. Oop, I gotta turn that off. And so I really really enjoyed that a lot. But it just kind of went all downhill. The scares aren't scary. The film reels that the kid actually watches aren't they're creative, but they're not really that terrifying. The main character, okay, do you remember like one of the deputies from the first so-and-so? He's the main character in this movie.
Really?
And it's just I couldn't take him serious. He's too much of a goofball.
Yeah, I was about to say he was kind of the comedic relief in the first one.
Yeah.
I could see him leading the whole movie.
And he adds some comedic moments in this one for sure, but it's just as the main character, a lot of it I couldn't really take too serious.
Here's my thing with it. I liked the first Sinister. I did. I don't think it required a sequel at all.
No.
I mean, I haven't seen the movie, obviously, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I couldn't see how they can push that story forward without just throwing a new family in every single movie.
Right. I think that's kind of just what they're going for. They just might be throwing a new family here and there.
Second thing, the thing I didn't like about Sinister is some of the, like the movie's been out for like 3 years. So the very ending of Sinister, when it's just, and it just gets in your face, is that all Sinister 2 is? Just a bunch of that crap?
Not a bunch of that.
Okay.
There are a lot of those moments. Like
from the trailers, I was like, oh,
most of the scares, I would say, were in the trailers. When
Really?
he like shows the light, goes down, like that's exactly what that is.
Okay.
There's a couple moments here and there because I like horror films where they show stuff in the background that's very subtle.
That you don't always catch.
They don't really always catch it.
Look, and you're like, oh.
They do some stuff like that, but other than it's more or less the same thing. But you know what it was? The biggest thing that I take away is just style over it because Scott Derrickson really added something. Like you felt like, okay, this is a guy who knows horror and he's like really into it a lot. And there just really wasn't anything. There was like no style to this movie. It was just very one note from beginning to end. And so I didn't really enjoy it that much.
Crap.
And if you guys want to check it out, over on Schmoes Know, I did a review with Mark Ellis. I was very excited to do that.
I don't know if they're familiar with that channel.
No?
No.
Maybe we should plug him to give him some more subscribers. Schmoes Know.
Okay.
Schmoes Know. Schmoes, no. Oh. But yeah, so that's what we've been up to. We got some news stories before we got a lot of news stories.
Guys, we have stuff to talk about.
We got a lot of
this
stuff to talk
never
about.
happens. I'm
Okay.
so happy.
This is what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna cut it. I'm gonna keep you going. I'm gonna start off because we're gonna start talking about some trailers.
Okay.
And the first one is the Scouts one. And
Scouts?
you introduced this to me. My
Yeah.
computer's gonna die. I'm gonna run and go get the charger as fast as I
You're gonna
can,
make me
as if
record by
yes,
myself.
as if zombies are chasing me. And you're gonna do it, starting about this. Tell them the title, who's in it. Then I'm gonna come in because I saw the trailer too.
talk really
3,
slow.
2, 1, go.
Hey guys, this is the edition of the show where Cobbster leaves me to talk to you guys all by myself. How y'all doing? Cool, good to hear. Anyway, the first trailer is for a movie called Scout's Guide to the Apocalypse. It's a horror comedy. Oh, Cobbster's back. It's a horror comedy. I've been following this one for a while because I just love the premise of it. It's just the logline is just Boy Scouts come across zombies. I thought that was just brilliant. The trailer is not what I thought it would be as for terms of story. I thought it'd just be a bunch of boys in the woods fighting off zombies. This is like in town apparently, but it looks really funny. I don't think it has. It's got a weird theatrical release. It's kind of the same thing that the latest Paranormal Activity is doing, where it's like part video on demand and like barely a theatrical release.
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, are you? Okay.
Yeah,
but this
and I'm
one,
back.
Did you like Trailer Cobbster from what you saw?
I did. I really liked it. It reminded me of the Cooties trailer too.
Oh, okay, cool.
A good blend of horror and comedy.
Yeah. Like some of the jokes didn't really hit, but I really thought they did a good job in what I've seen so far. I'm looking forward to the movie.
Ty Sheridan's in it.
Ty Sheridan.
Yeah, I think it looks like a lot of fun. I think if we're not going to be getting a bunch of actual scary horror films, then a good comedy horror film is
Perfectly
right
fine
there
with
for
the
me.
horror comedy.
That
Perfectly fine with
I'm really looking forward to that. Cooties and Krampus. So maybe with these ones, it could be that sense where some things are actually creepy. Sometimes when you watch a horror comedy and there's actual creepy moments in it, I enjoy that. Maybe we can get some of that.
Yeah.
Cool.
All
right.
What's the other trailer that came out this week?
The next one is Goodnight Mommy. Holy
Night.
shit.
Thank you guys for tweeting us
Yeah,
this. I would have never
everyone
found it.
Everyone
until-
has been
Oh my God.
bombarding us to talk about this trailer.
This is like one of the coolest trailers I've ever seen. I had to turn it off towards the end because like, okay, I've seen too much. I don't want to see any more of this. This is
right.
so cool.
It's not cool.
Okay.
It's not cool at all. It's that same thing of just the imagery of that face that this mom has, and it seems like there's a really cool, creepy backstory to her. Not entirely sure what the hell's going on, but I'm a fan of this trailer.
Basically, it's a foreign language movie, right?
Yes.
Looks like except subtitles, obviously, Cody. Basically, it's these two kids. I'm trying to remember because I don't want to spoil too much. Basically, their mom goes away, comes back, something like that, and their mom's not the same.
No.
And these kids have to try to
Very
try to
cool,
work together,
simple
figure out
premise.
what's going on, and it looks creepy as hell.
It does.
There are some
And-
moments in this where I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah, even in the trailer, like it seems like it gets wacky. Like
Yeah.
even they're putting on masks at one point. They're not trusting her mom. I like it. It doesn't really give too much away. It's just simply like, fuck, this ain't this. Is this our mom? We don't even know if this is our mom anymore. And they're twins too, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're twins. You never
like
mess
it.
with twins in horror films. Nothing ever goes right. And I think it looks great. I think it's shot beautifully. Is this A24 as well?
It could be.
It might be.
Might be. I'll
Because
look it up.
A24 is like killing it
A24
these
has been-
days.
Oh.
But speaking of another A24 movie, the one I'm really looking forward to the most is The Witch.
Yeah, what a cool trailer.
Yeah,
People
this
have
one's
been
really
calling
cool.
this like one of the best horror trailers of
In a
all
while.
time. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Like the atmosphere of this thing.
Mhm.
Like, first of all, you've never really seen this genre.
Mm-mm.
Like, I mean, not this genre. This like time period
Not a lot.
in a horror movie that much. You know what I mean? Like Pilgrims. It's like witches
Pilgrims.
and
So
pilgrims
like
and shit.
Crucible meets
Yeah.
the hell's the one? The Village. Nah. Well, yeah. I guess
Same-
you would.
yeah,
I would
no,
say. I would say
I
the
could
Village.
see that, I could see
I say the Village because the trees. Every time I think of the Village, I think of trees.
Mm-hmm.
I love that kind of imagery in these types of movies as well too, because that's just a scary environment. Like everything's foggy all the
Yeah.
time. You can't really see shit. And even like dark scenes, like all it is just a lamp, like
Yeah.
with
Ugh.
it's very, very cool. I'm hoping that witches can be scary again. What's the last time you've actually been scared of a witch?
I don't think I've Van Helsing.
Oh gosh. Well, have you ever been scared by a witch?
I don't really find that. I find them like just like comical. You know what I mean?
Hocus Pocus?
Hocus Pocus, maybe. I don't know.
Come with me, children. Is that how the song? Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
You don't
that.
remember Hocus
No.
Pocus?
I saw it once when I was a
Pity.
wee lad.
Dude turns into a cat. It's good
Okay,
stuff.
okay.
But those are the trailers. We got some other news story. Here's a fun one. You like Halloween Horror Nights?
Yeah.
Universal Studios?
Love it.
Michael Myers is making a comeback.
Like a maze, or he's just gonna be walking around?
I don't know, because usually they have him walking around.
He's walking
but
around.
maybe
It's just theme talking. He's like, "Hey guys,
how you going?
I'm back."
I'm Mike. I think maybe it's a maze, or maybe it's just coming back. Because I know, when you get off the tram and you have to walk through all the sets. There was always
awesome.
that is so cool, such an awesome premise. But there's always that section just at the top of the hill, right before you get to the War of the Worlds like zombie area
By the Psycho House.
By the Psycho House, that there's like a bunch of Michael
Oh,
Myers.
yeah.
Maybe they'll bring him back
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
or maybe they'll actually have a fun maze.
Yeah.
Have him walk around in like a ghost thing.
We gotta go to that for this
Yeah.
year and like have like videos for the show.
Oh,
For
yeah,
HorrorFlix.
absolutely.
We gotta do this.
Yeah.
I mean, even not, we're just gonna fucking go.
I'm not gonna go by myself.
Oh, I'm saying we're both going.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
HorrorFlix
gotta go with me.
exclusive.
You gotta go with me
I'll hold
because
your hand.
yeah, you gotta hold my hand because
Okay,
you always it's that funny thing, like, whether it's Universal Studios or like Knott's Berry Farm, you always have to have like
gotta have a buddy.
a partner,
So you
and
can
then
laugh
like
about
if you have like a girl right next to you, or if you have
Oh,
if you have a guy too, that's cool too, and then you have him just like right next to him and you're holding him, and so that way it doesn't make you feel like that much of a pussy if you jump because the person next to you is probably going to be the one that jumps.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
So unless you're the pussy that jumps,
Don't be a pussy that jumps.
make that pussy jump.
Nope.
Okay, and the last one we're going to talk about, this is weird. It's another classic horror franchise. I won't even really say classic, but Friday the 13th.
That's a classic.
Yeah, the original
franchise.
one was,
Okay.
but the
Oh,
sequels,
the sequels,
you know
I
what I
see.
mean.
Okay.
It is Friday the 13th is coming to TV, which has been done before, I believe. I think Friday the 13th was a series.
That's right, and I heard
but
it was terrible.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with Jason
Yeah.
at all. But it's coming to CW.
Okay.
Cool. I guess.
All right.
I guess why not?
Look,
if
I
not,
get it. People like Flash and Green Arrow, but like CW, man. Like, what are you gonna get for Friday the 13th at CW?
probably as much as you would for like an MTV thing too. See, here's the thing though. This is what I'm somewhat on board for. If it's a Friday the 13th series and they're gonna focus on Jason,
Okay.
these movies I never cared about any of the campers. Your sole purpose was to watch these movies and see kids get killed.
Yeah.
In very creative and fun ways. CW can get pretty graphic. I don't know if you ever watched Supernatural.
I was about to say, is that the show? that
Supernatural is an awesome TV show that has gone on way too long that I stopped
It's
watching.
still going?
It's still going,
Oh,
dude.
God.
They're on like season 9 or something like that. Which I've heard some good things here and there. They definitely should have stopped after like season 5 or 6 because just the story of where they went. That's neither here or there. I haven't watched it in a while. But in moments in that show, it gets pretty damn bloody.
Okay.
And so I think it could be a lot of fun. I mean, most of the acting in these types of movies are CW type of acting anyways. So
true.
you might as well be on. It's almost too perfect, to be honest with you.
Really? Okay.
I'll watch the show, and hopefully it could be as good as something like Scream is. And granted, Scream is just like a guilty pleasure rather. So
Is that over yet?
no, there's a couple more episodes
Okay.
left.
I'm about to say, yeah, I got to catch up on that.
There was actually a really, really awesome ending to
Really? To one of the Scream episodes?
2 episodes ago
Okay.
where they kill one of the main characters. And I just, the way they killed him, I was like, holy shit. I didn't think, okay, cool.
All right.
This is pretty brutal.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's a thing. And I think that pretty much wraps it up for our
Wraps
news
up the
stories.
news.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it, guys. See you.
See you later. Have a good
Bye.
night.
All right.
Have a good night, mommy.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
We have a show to do here. An actual topic of discussion.
Oh, I thought you brought up it. I thought you're.
Oh,
okay,
actual news
you were
story?
doing like a little thing. Okay.
Oh, no, I don't
I
have
thought you were
anything else.
bringing up like another news story. I was
No,
like,
I
what
got
the fuck?
nothing.
What did we forget?
I got nothing.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we actually do have a news story, and we got a pretty fun topic today. So this is what, episode 19, I think? I want to say it's episode 19.
Sure.
I'm pretty damn
19.
confident, and we're professionals. We keep track of shit.
Yeah.
And today I put up the post, and basically we're going to be talking about how horror films can be good again.
Yeah.
Not saying that all scary movies or
No, there's
psychological
good
thrillers.
ones.
There's definitely some gems out there. But
We want to get more of those gems.
We want
we're gonna-
more of those
we want
gems.
to ask the question: How do we make this happen?
how do we make them good again? What can we do?
Yeah.
Do we have to go to studios and petition? Do we got to do picket
We'll make
fences?
a PowerPoint presentation.
We can make
like,
a
as you can see
PowerPoint
here.
presentation. Yes, right
Slide
here.
number 2.
Yes. So yeah, because we talk about this kind of thing all the time on the show by bringing up movies that we love, movies that we don't love so much, and I just think that there are so many different ways how we can enjoy horror films, and how filmmakers can just make them better, and we obviously left it to you guys to talk about it, but what's one of the things for you that would just, like, say you see a whole, let's say it's January, okay? You see a whole slate of all these scary movies that are coming out throughout the year. Say there's like 25, okay? You see them all, just by the titles alone, what's the first thing that stands out to you?
What's the first thing that stands out to me? Well, that's a dumb title, or that's a dumb story.
Either dumb title or it's sequel.
Yeah. Or sequel.
A sequel.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, no more of these sequels. No more sequels.
No more. No more
sequels for anything.
That's true.
For that
I want just one-offs for horror. Like,
just one-offs.
So there's some great horror sequels out there. There are.
Yes.
But I think I'd much prefer just have stories. Just one single story.
Exactly. And I know for a fact there's some people in our Facebook comments that
that's a good point.
That are exactly with this too. And we'll go through some of these.
Okay.
We'll go through some of these.
Okay, I'll go through.
And I just I get it. It's Hollywood. You need to make money. You do. That's put aside passion and story and characters. The number one reason why movies exist is for money, okay? But the true artist form behind that is that, the idea that these filmmakers or people that are creative, they don't care about the money, okay? But it's just no matter what, there's going to be that element of people that are going to want to make money no matter what. And so the sequels are the ones that usually make a lot of money. And plus, it's so easy to make scary movies these days that it's just so easy to make a lot of money back. And it's troubling because it's suffering from the creative side.
It makes the effort go down.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not going to say that people aren't trying when they make their horror films recently. But what you just said, the effort's clearly not there. Like, the movies aren't as good when there's all these cheap ones being made.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the other thing is that I think a lot of us horror fans are being tainted by all these crappy ones.
Okay.
Yeah, crappy ones. Okay. Fuck it, I'll say it. There's a lot of shitty horror films that come out these days, and it makes me angry because people will go in, they'll watch it, they'll see a jump scare, and they think that's frightening. They think that's actually scary. They'll see someone pop up on a window or a ball hitting a window and be like, oh,
and then that's scary.
And then they'll finish the movie and be like, wow, that was really good, and they'll go off and they'll tell their friends, yeah, this and this was really scary. And it's not, that's like, horror isn't about
startling you,
like
you know what I mean?
Popping noises or anything. It's about imagery. It's about tension, dread.
I want to add on that because I hate when there's like a good movie, say like It Follows, which is a fun fucking horror movie. It's great tone and everything. And mainstream audiences fucking hated it
because
people. I went to I was in auditoriums all day. I worked at a movie theater. I saw reactions. People hated that fucking movie.
Because why?
I don't get you people. Because it's different than just, hey, we're gonna scare you with just loud fucking noises.
Thank you.
And scary faces. No, it's actually a well-crafted horror film.
Exactly.
But people aren't used to that, so they didn't like it.
Exactly. Ugh. Good job, sir. High five right there.
That pisses me off.
Just absolutely. No, and that's the thing, too. That's why I hold It Follows so high in regards to as a horror film, because it doesn't rely on jump scares. It doesn't rely on cliches. It actually takes, like, old concepts and brings it back to life in a new, fresh way with a great original concept and just tells a good story. That's all it needed to do is just tell a good story and have fun, and that's exactly what it is. Is it perfect? No, but it's like you said, it's a lot of fun.
James Smith, he has a little bit of optimism, and he agrees with your sequel thing. He's like, I think the most apparent suggestion is to stop relying on sequels and pre-existing franchises. I think that because of the Babadook and It Follows having such great response, we're definitely heading into a good period where interesting, well-crafted, independent horror films are going to be in position where distributors, So he agrees.
Yes. It's a great point, too. You know, he
has hope that's going to turn around.
I think all of us have hope, too, because we're starting to see it slowly, very slowly come back. I think in a couple of years, just like how comic book movies, found footage movies, and now like nostalgic movies, I guess, are kind of making comebacks. I think horror films are going to make a comeback in a huge way. Maybe even, I'm hoping, not really, but hoping to the point where it's almost feeling oversaturated. It was like, oh my God, there's so many horror films.
So many good ones.
But I like what he brings up there because it kind of throws us into a bit of a pickle because you would think, yes, stop doing sequels, stop doing things. Movies like It Follows, which it made a decent amount of money, right?
I mean, it's a low budget movie.
It's a low budget movie.
It made money.
So it's going to make money. The thing is with that is when an indie film becomes this huge phenomenon like Paranormal Activity is that studios are going to say, hey, this movie made a shit ton of money. Let's make a sequel for it. And that's kind of how it all starts. It's like, you know, it's it's kind of like a gray area. You know, we want a movie to be a one-off, which hopefully It Follows is going to be a one-off. Babadook, absolutely going to be a one-off for sure.
God.
I don't know. I don't even know if that movie made any money, really.
It didn't really have a big theatrical release.
No,
That was
right?
all like on demand, and those almost never really like they'll make profit sometimes, but
Yeah.
they never really like justify enough for a sequel. I don't
But that's fine. And even the director, I think, went on to say
Yeah, she doesn't want a remake,
she
she
wanted
don't
to
want a
do
sequel,
anything.
nothing.
I think that's what it is. I think filmmakers need to like own everything.
Have some
like
balls.
Like Robert Zemeckis that shit and just make sure no one ever touches it. I think that's what it needs to be, because I've talked with Mark Riley, and we need to get Mark Riley onto the show
Oh, yeah, he'd be
ASAP,
great.
because he's a huge horror
Yeah.
fan, and we've talked about this many times. Is that you look at franchises like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream. What do you think about when you think of those?
I'm sorry, what was that? I was reading Facebook comments.
Fuck you,
I was
jerk!
reading
I'm
the
not gonna
Facebook
even.
comments
I'm not
so
gonna
I
even
can-
give you the chance to answer that.
Okay, sorry. You answer your own question.
When you
I'm
think
sorry.
of these franchises like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, you think about the face of that franchises, the monsters, the creatures.
That's what I was
Freddy.
gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
If
I'm
I
sure
was
you
paying
were.
attention, that would have been my answer.
I'm sure.
I promise.
You think of Freddy, you think of Jason, you think of Ghostface, you think of all these great movie monsters, our modern Frankenstein, our modern Dracula, and you love seeing these characters because, you know, whether the movies are good or not, they're making kills, they're entertaining. We don't have that
We have
anymore.
nothing.
The latest thing that we can think of is Toby,
Who's invisible.
Who's invisible? You don't even freaking see him.
He has no face.
But honestly, the real one, Jigsaw, is
Jigsaw
one of
is
the
the
more
most-
recent ones.
yeah.
More recent ones. And talking with Mark Riley, they need to make a new movie monster. They just need to. And what
tried with Sinister.
yeah, I think they're trying to do it with Sinister. It's not really working. Like Bagul, Bagul is a cool.
That's Scooby-Doo right there?
Scooby-Doo, right?
Bagul.
Bagul. Bagul is a cool looking fucking
Look
dude.
out, Maggie, for Bagul.
It's a stupid name for sure.
Yeah.
But I want to see someone new, and whether that's a one-off or even if you make that into a franchise, fine. As long as it's someone new. We don't need to see another Friday the 13th. We don't need to see another Halloween, because it's not as exciting anymore. And
Those had their time.
They had their
you know?
time. They had their chance. It's over with. And even if they did bring back Robert Englund for a Nightmare movie, that would be really cool.
That would be actually, yeah.
Like an old Freddy, like
Yeah.
Old Man Logan,
like,
but old
fuck,
man
I'm getting
old man
for this
Freddy.
shit.
He's breaking his hip.
Yeah, he's like, oh god.
It's prime time. Shit. I think that'd be actually cool. You can only
That'd be
convince
really
me.
fun.
You can only convince me a new Nightmare on Elm Street if Wes Craven and Robert Englund come back.
Yeah,
That's
they
I
have
think
to-
the only way.
yeah.
If they somehow thought of something really great. And look, I don't mind big franchises coming back if there's a great concept. If there's a great concept
Jurassic
behind,
World
like look
was
at Jurassic
awesome.
World. I
Yeah.
love Jurassic World.
Anyway.
If you bring up a good concept and you bring back the franchise and it's good, tip the hat off to you. But as of now, we just want standalone movies. We want Babadooks. We want It Follows, you know? And even like maybe something like Creep. Creep could
is
be
so much fun.
like Peach Fuzz could be the next Michael Myers. You never know.
I am so glad they're making more Creeps. The
Yeah,
Creep
apparently
movies.
they're doing a
Oh,
trilogy, right?
Yeah, apparently.
But see, like that's all Mark Duplass and whoever the director is of that movie.
Yeah.
They're like teaming up together
Patrick
because
Bryce, I believe. his
yes,
name is. Yeah.
because they're passionate about it, you know, and that's what we need. We need more freaking passionate directors. Like maybe like someone Joel Edgerton could be the next kind of.
So I'm just imagining you like standing on a podium right now. Just we need more passion. And it's like, crap.
You get a free car. You get a free
You
car.
get a horror movie
Yes.
mascot. You get a mascot.
But I definitely think that's the next topic I want to go into is actual directors, because you think of something like have you heard of who's the director for Sinister 2?
I don't know.
Have you ever?
don't know.
I looked them up, but yeah, like what have they done? Close to nothing.
Yeah.
A lot of these Hollywood studios will get up and coming directors to do their first horror films, which is understandable because directors, they got to do what they got to do. They're gonna like if you and me were approached by
I would
someone,
love you.
like
Yeah.
we'll do it, but we'll try to have rules and standards. We won't try to let them pick us apart and push us around.
Yeah.
And I don't want to necessarily say that studios push them around. I don't know enough if the studios are saying, "Hey, put a jump scare here, put a jump scare here." Like just the scripts aren't good. They're I think a lot of these screenwriters are watching all these horror films
They're
today.
just writing what's coming out so that's
Yeah.
safe. You know what I mean?
And it's
that's
safe.
safe and it'll make money, and I get it.
They need some original
It
concepts.
just sucks.
passionate directors like Michael Dougherty, who's doing Krampus up recently. You can tell by the way this guy speaks about horror films that he is a true fan. Eli Roth, someone who I'm
that
not
movie better not suck, by the way.
Oh, I hope not.
I better not.
Eli Roth, someone who I'm not even a huge fan of. I appreciate and I will see every single one of his movies comes out because he's a true horror fan. And I think The Green Inferno is going to be his masterpiece. It looks so good.
Actually. Yeah,
looks really good. And then you have a huge blockbuster director like Guillermo del Toro, who's a huge horror fan, and he's got Crimson Peak coming out. Yeah. Despite how I feel about the trailers, I'm still going to be there freaking opening night because I know this guy loves this genre. And I think we need more kind of blockbustery horror directors out there, you know?
That's what I said a few shows ago when I said Spielberg should do a horror movie, and everyone got all up on my case. I'm like, look, I think if he did something like Crimson Peak, like Guillermo del Toro is showing the passion for. If Spielberg could do something like that now, I know he did Poltergeist technically, but you know what I mean? I think that'd be awesome.
Jaws.
And
even if you look at Duel's kind of a horror film a little bit too.
I guess so.
Even though it was like a straight TV, but
suspenseful.
Yeah. I agree with that though, because Spielberg, what I want to see come back in a lot of horror films is kids, because get some really cool kid actors. Like, do you see Cop Car?
No, I want to.
Okay, so the two kids in it are really, really good. Okay. Like, you get someone who's good with kids, and you have them do a horror film, then it's like that's like a great way, because I think adding kids to scary movies brings that little bit of like lack of reason and lack of knowledge. It makes it scarier because these kids are actually learning about these things. You put in adults,
they're the most innocent characters you can throw in there and having terrible fucking shit happen to them.
Exactly. And you look at like Fukunaga like doing it is just, I couldn't even imagine that. But now I could care less, because New Line's probably going to get some first-time director that he may be a fan of the series, the original book, but you know, Fukunaga actually had a vision for this, you know. Mm-hmm. So I just think we could add kids into it. It'd be scary, because the kids in Sinister 2 were not scary at all. Not at all. No.
Not even.
No.
Were they sympathetic at least?
No.
Not
really.
Come on.
One of the kids was kind of an asshole.
Oh, fuck that kid. Anyway, a thing that a lot of people bring up on Facebook is story first, scares second. That's literally what Tyler Myers said on his comedy. So story first, scares second. The reason Conjuring and Babadook have been some of my favorite horror films in the last few years is that they focus on building an interesting story first with well-developed characters that you want to follow for at least 2 hours. That way, once the scares and creeps happen, they'll feel genuine and make you care about who's been affected.
It's a formula. A very simple formula. Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree, because they focus so much on trying to scare you that they try way too hard. They think that, you know, like a door closing is scary. It's not scary anymore. We've seen that so many goddamn times. Like, if you like, It Follows is not scary. It's not. If I grab that slide door right there. Yeah, and I'm not gonna actually do it. But if I grabbed a string and I moved it open, you didn't see the string, you're like, oh,
what was that?
And I close it. What's the ghost trying to do? Or
what
demon.
is the motive there?
Actually, okay, I'll bring this up real quick. There was something interesting that Sinister 2 did do, is because the two little kids, they can see the other, the dead kids that the Bagul has killed. They did a thing where they're you know in scary movies where shit's being thrown around all over the place and doors are opening and closing. Like, there would be scenes where the mom is seeing just shit flying over there where the door's closing, and then when you go to the kids' perspective, they're seeing the kids. The kids are the ones actually doing it. Interesting, but still.
Why were the kids doing it? Just to fuck around?
Yeah, okay. There was no purpose for them doing it. But absolutely, I think. I
hate these kids.
I hate these goddamn kids. I hate kids in general. Kids on the screen, and in movie theaters. Yeah. The worst.
I'm right there with you.
Just the worst. So yes, absolutely. You look at Babadook, you look at It Follows. That focuses more on characters and actual story. Start with a script. Like, don't plan out Ouija 2 before you have a script.
Before you even have a story or
anything like that. It's like, oh shit, it made money opening weekend. We're going to do another one. We don't know what we're going to do it with, but it's going to do it. It's going to come out on this day. And that's the thing too. It's deadlines and due dates and when actual horror films are coming out. They set these dates. Even when you look at all the Marvel movies and Star Wars and everything.
In general, yeah.
It's just they're planning all these movies out before they even have it. And I'm sure some of these companies like Marvel and Lucasfilm,
they'll make fine movies.
I'm sure they have plans, and they're not necessarily pulling off horror films today are doing, where they just plan a sequel just because they're going to make a lot of money. They need to establish an actual script. Make sure that it's good. You know, they need to get actual good writers. You know, have people that are just super passionate about it.
Right there with you. And look, I get it that the people who want to prove themselves are cheap, so they're going to hire anyone off the street to try to make a horror script. But if you bring someone who's passionate about it, you get a better result. That's the bottom line. I'm sorry.
Right. And you know, I don't know the whole process behind it, but
I don't either, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot that goes.
We're not
into
the only
it.
ones who feel this way, so it's obviously that perception is wide. You know what I mean?
It's obviously that's a problem. See, you know what I think? What defines, or maybe not defines, but what divides actual horror fans to like the general audience is that true horror fans know what a crappy horror film comes out and what a good one is. But then like the general audience, not saying they're not like passionate about movies or anything, just people that just regular moviegoers, they'll go to a movie theater and they'll see a movie, they'll think it's scary, but it's really not. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we all just need to have a big old meeting.
Everyone just needs to sit down, be like, guys, this is what's good. Okay.
Yeah, this is what's not.
The stuff that you've been spoon-fed for the last 10 years is not. I'm sorry. I know you think it is. It's not. I promise you.
But here's the thing is with that too. Like all film, it is subjective.
Yeah, I know.
But more so with horror films, some people find things scarier than others. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Most people probably, maybe I don't even say most people, but I would say that a lot of people aren't afraid of spiders like I am. And so you have like there was one scene in Sinister 2 where there was a spider, and I was getting an anxiety attack because I can't stand, like he was about to squash him. Do it, and then he doesn't do it, and it crawls away. I was like, fuck, that's the sequel right there. The spider's gonna come back.
Did you hear about those flying spiders in the Amazon?
Why are you gonna bring that up?
They're flying and they can like steer.
I don't care.
That's so terrifying. That's a horror movie right there.
Don't bring
There's
that.
not one behind you.
Don't bring that up.
Okay, sorry.
But I'm just saying, like, you know, some people might find Sinister 2 scary, and that's fine.
And good for you.
I'm you know, happy for you. But there's just so many better scary movies out there that are actually scary, that actually take that concept of horror and embraces it, you know, and loves it. I'm not to say that these directors don't love the genre and they didn't try, but it's just not good.
Going off that a little bit, the directing thing, a lot of people are bringing up atmosphere. They want more atmosphere with the horror movies. All it feels the same, like it's just quiet and then something a loud, scary jump scare. You know, like something what James Wan does really well is he creates a whole world like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's what a lot of people are bringing up here.
James Wan's a perfect example because he really harkens back to like the 1970s and 60s horror vibe. You know, we're seeing a lot of these kind of classic-ish nostalgia vibes coming back to the table, which is really great. But James Wan definitely brings a whole lot of atmosphere. You know, I like you were talking about atmosphere. Look at the Witch trailer. That has atmosphere.
That is all
written all over that.
Atmosphere. I don't think there's a single jump scare in that trailer, by the way.
I know.
There were creepy-ass imagery for sure. But like nothing.
I would rather see a movie like It Follows, where it's creepy imagery, great atmosphere, almost like not scary at all, because I don't think the movie's scary. I can watch the movie easily and sleep.
It Follows?
Sleep easily. But I will take that with good story and good characters over a movie that tries to be too scary, like tries to really, like, you know, it's got to be subtle. You know, it can't be always in your face and loud. It's just great music, great atmosphere, great acting. Like, is that so much to ask for?
Is that so much? Just have a good movie. I mean, come on.
What's everybody else saying? Is anything? What else?
A lot of people are just saying no jump scares. Like, seriously, like 90% of the comments here, like, too much jump scares. Another one is they're tired of the demon possession, you know, all that crap that seems to be every single horror movie now.
Yep.
That's part of the reason why I like The Gift. Again, it's not a typical
it's very
horror
simple.
movie, but it's completely different.
Real.
From
it's
what
a
you
real
think.
thing.
It's just a legit real story. You know?
Yeah, I agree too. As much as I love the good, you know, demonic possession story, it's too much. It's too much, man.
It's too much.
I think we're getting too much of that found footage and the zombies and the ghosts and the ghouls and the demons. What make up something, you know, like It Follows, again, not to keep bringing it up, but we don't really know what that is. Give us stuff that you don't explain, because that's really
more ambiguity would be nice.
Yeah, that's more scary than actually knowing. Like I didn't want to know. Let's see. I don't want to know Freddy Krueger's backstory. Other than that he was a child molester.
Yeah,
they said in the first
movie,
one.
That's fine.
Michael Myers, like, you don't need to explain to me that he was part of this religious cult thing. Like, if the idea of him being raised around a religious cult and put some kind of evil curse on him to make him pure evil, that's not scary. From the very first movie, when Dr. Loomis just says he's pure evil, that's scary enough because
like, why the hell is he like that?
Like, where's the motivation? Yeah. Just because he's just pure evil, and that's scarier than anything I can possibly imagine. Mm-hmm. So what about you?
I'm right there with you. Mladen, our good buddy, is it Mladen or Mladen?
Mladen. He spelled it out for us. I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay, I'm sorry. This guy's a long-time listener of the show, all 19 episodes. But he says, I think they should stop making every horror movie about possession, ghosts, and found footage. Those are not the only subgenres. There are others like slasher, comedy, monsters, psychological. Most horror movies that are not about possession or ghosts come from independent filmmakers like this year's Girl House. Apparently, I haven't seen that. Girl House, a very fun, entertaining slasher, or The Voices. A very good psychological horror comedy.
Ryan Reynolds, right? I
Yeah.
need to see that one. Absolutely. I want to see the slashers come back. Yeah. But see, there's always the problem. If things are going to make a comeback, Hollywood or just any kind of studio is going to recognize that, and they're going to want to keep bringing that back and over. Things are eventually always going to be played out, whether we like them or not. Like, as much as I love the superhero movies, there's a lot of them. And it
eventually it'll probably get old.
Eventually it probably will get old. And for most people, I would say it's already starting to get old for them, you know? It's going to be the same thing once in a while. But I mean, I just want that like great grace period of just really good horror films.
Just the pinnacle of it.
Could you imagine? Yeah. And look, even not all superhero movies that come out every single year are good either. Fantastic Four is a pure example of that. But, you know, I would say, like, of the 5 superhero movies that come out a year, at least 3 of them are good.
Yeah, really good.
One of them's great. Yeah. And
I want that for horror.
I want that for horror. Okay. You know, there's probably, I would say, maybe 20, 25, like, big. I don't even know if, like, big, but just, you know, horror films that come out this year. And maybe like 5, 6, maybe 10, if that are decent, if not good. Like, great, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You know? So we're definitely like in a minority right now.
You'll like this one. Igor Urbanski says 3 things that modern horror movies can improve are use of practical effects instead of cheap CGI, memorable villains. I cannot read today. Memorable villains and a memorable music scores 80s style. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Give found footage a genre a rest for the next couple years.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing that. I mean, we've gotten some found footage ones. We're getting Paranormal Activity, but it seems like it's died down a little bit, you know. Yeah. But definitely. Practical effects, yes. I know it's not as cheap as CGI, but it definitely, the effort's there, and I think we're really going to see that with Krampus because they talked a lot about practical effects at Comic-Con for that. Music, too, yes. I've definitely seen an up in music lately, especially with It Follows. What's the other one? What am I thinking of the other one?
For music?
Yeah.
It was like The Guest.
The Guest, too. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that music come back. Your Next has a really great score, too.
Yeah.
Or soundtrack, whatever it is. What else?
James Joseph Lister says, get creative. Something that a lot of the good horror films do is to think outside the box and try things that haven't been done before, like a sci-fi horror in space with Alien. Why not a superhero horror film? It's not like there isn't a lot of source material to draw from. Hell, give me a horror musical. As long as it's put together by a team that truly love what they're doing and aren't just in it to make a cheap buck off anything is possible.
That's true.
Also, jump scares can fuck right off.
Nice. Very well said.
Good comment, James.
Absolutely. No, I want to see another good space horror film. Give me, I know video game.
Like Pandorum?
Oh, that had so much potential. I was so excited for that movie because I think during that time I was playing like Dead Space.
Oh yeah,
and like
it's right up that alley.
Absolutely, I want to see because sci-fi horror is my favorite. The Thing. What's the other one with
Alien?
Yeah. Obviously Alien. I'm thinking of with Alan Grant, fucking Sam Neill. Event Horizon.
Yeah, Event Horizon.
Event Horizon. I definitely want to see another one. I would. As much as video game movies aren't good, I would love to see a Dead Space movie. That's just that. I think that's so perfect because I know it would be like all CGI, all the necromorphs. If you guys play the game, you know what necromorphs are, which are just kind of the main villains. But imagine like practical necromorphs, very similar to how John Carpenter did in The Thing. Like really? That would be so fucking awesome. But I mean, you can only ask for so much. There's actually some good Dead Space cartoon movies. There's like 2 of them. There's like Aftermath and Downfall. I think you guys should go check those out. Those are pretty violent and brutal, especially if you're a fan of the video games. Those are really cool. Definitely check them out. And play the games too. The games are awesome.
Daniel Epler brings up a decent point. He says the problem with horror isn't with the horror genre. The problem is what mainstream Hollywood is sending to the mainstream theaters. horror is actually in a very good place right now, but you wouldn't know it if you just watch the mainstream films at the theaters.
That's very true.
He said, you can't just skim the surface. As horror fans, we have to be willing to dig deeper. Most of the great horror films of today are going straight to video on demand, and there are fascinating things happening there. There are the brilliant works of T. West. There are fun slashers like Stage Fright. There are masterpiece mindbenders like Starry Eyes. There are werewolf films like Late Phases. There are horror comedies like What We Do in the Shadows and Burying the X. There have always been good and bad horror films every year since the dawn of film first print. It's just a shame that so much imaginative mediocrity is going to the big theaters. But if you dig deeper, there is great joy for horror fans.
Give that guy a medal.
He
Get him on our
has
show.
hope.
Get him on our show. That guy knows what the
Thank
hell's
you,
up.
man.
That's one of the reasons why we do
Yeah.
this show. Not just because we love horror films, but we want to talk about movies that go under the radar.
Yeah.
You know, that aren't the big, huge mainstream.
We want to
horror
try
films.
to support this comment right here.
Absolutely. That's probably what I'm going to take that comment, get a picture of this young man. Or if he's older
You're going to
man.
get a picture of him.
Like,
while he's just hanging out in the park.
while he's hanging out in the parking
just take a
lot.
picture of him.
I'll Photoshop it, make it look like he's posing, and then put the quote next to him, hanging up on my wall,
Frame
because
it.
that's exactly what needs
That
to be
should
done.
go on the poster of every movie theater. Just have that hanging there next to
Yes.
Center 2.
And you know what, too? As long as you're a true horror fan, who cares about if all these mainstream ones are scaring other people? Because you know what's really going on. And again, we come back to the idea that to each his own. If you think one movie's scary and other people just don't think it's scary at all, fine. But we want good horror films, true horror films that just embrace it, that love it, because we love this genre more than anything. And even if the movie is a mainstream movie, we'll go out and see it. Yeah. But see, I think that's also part of the problem as well, is that we keep going back to see them.
Don't blame Blumhouse. I know a lot of people are like up in arms about Blumhouse because look,
they're trying.
I get it.
They're trying.
They make a lot of movies, and
Yes.
look, when you're swinging at every pitch you get, you're not going to connect on everyone. But when you do,
Baseball, nice.
like that baseball analogy, they have some good movies, man.
They do.
They do. And I'll gladly take The Lazarus Effect and Sinister 2 if it gives us movies like The Gift, which is also distributed by Blum. I think it was a different division of theirs, but it's still Blumhouse.
Blumhouse, yeah.
And Jason Blum is also a producer on Whiplash. I know it's not a horror movie, but these cheap movies that aren't great but are making money, they do enable some really great stuff, guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think they're, like, again, they are there to make money, but they do. Jason Blum's a fan of horror films, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're kind of in like a gray area. There's not too many shitty things out there of horror, but there are. But but there are.
Great comment. Okay.
But there are.
Okay.
But we definitely do get some gems here and there.
Yeah.
For every 5 crappy horror films, we get
one or
one
two
really good ones. Yeah. So, and as long as we talk about these really good ones, Babadooks, It Follows, Creeps, What We Do in the Shadows, what's the Starry Eyes, Resolution, all these great ones, The Den. Doesn't matter. As long as we watch these movies, and we talk about them, we have a good time and embrace them, we share them with other people, tell people to go and watch these movies, we're winning because we're enjoying these horror films.
Winning.
They are, wow.
That was from like 2011
so
right there.
old, you son of a bitch. Yeah, so as long as we enjoy those movies and have fun with them, we'll take the mainstream ones. Do we want them? No, but we'll take them. We'll go see them, and we'll brush it off and say, nah, that's fine. I'm going to go home and watch Babadook.
And I want to bring up the point that, yes, we're talking about this, but this can be true for almost every genre, if you really think about it. A lot of comedies suck. Every once in a while, there's a really good one. A lot of dramas suck. Every once in a while, there's a good one. Superhero movies, there's going to be a lot of them that suck because there's a lot more coming out, but there's always going to be good ones. This could be said for every single genre. But we're a horror podcast. Of course, we're going to talk about it here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And speaking of superhero horror films, Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Scott Derrickson. He may not be like a true horror film or anything like that, but you never know. There could be elements in it that could be really something interesting. Fantastic Four, they tried to do some scary stuff in it. Some of it worked. Obviously, the most didn't, but like going for a David Cronenberg type of feel for a superhero movie, I think that's so interesting.
Even Spawn is a guilty pleasure of mine.
Yeah.
I want them to remake that and do it justice.
Do something like that.
Do something like Spawn.
Absolutely. Make Freddy into a superhero. I don't care.
Yeah, fuck it.
So I think that about wraps it up. I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff. God, we got into it, man.
Yeah, we broke it down. Preachy there at times. That was fun.
A little preachy,
inspirational.
We're very passionate about this genre. We know you guys are too. So thank you guys all so much for the comments. A lot of really great stuff. Sorry we couldn't get to all of them, and I'm sure there's a lot more stuff that we didn't get to. But you know what? There's gonna be more time for that. And yeah, we're going to be talking about this type of stuff forever until we die. So even after death, too, we'll still be talking about it.
Yeah, whatever. We haven't been heaven. Hey, it's a Heaven Horror Podcast with Cobbster
Cody, I don't think we're going to heaven.
Okay,
if there is one.
Okay.
So thank you guys so much for listening. I believe this is episode 19. Let me do some fact checking right there, because otherwise, where's my continue? I just want to continue. So, Cody, before I make this little announcement, how about you tell them where to go and find us?
You guys can find us on iTunes, of course. You can find us on YouTube/SK Podcast. If you're on iTunes, please, if you haven't already, if you have already, do it again. Rate and review. Get us up those charts. Comment. Do all your fun stuff. If you're on the SK Podcast channel, be sure to leave comments on there. Like our video. If you think that we suck and you think that my opinion on horror movies sucks, which I've gotten a couple.
Yeah.
Go ahead and write it. Okay, I like having these discussions with people. I try to respond to some. Yeah, and that's where you can find us on there. You can find me on Twitter at @TheRealCodyHall. You can find him at
Cobbster15.
Yep. Instagram, I'm at that one dude Cody. I don't really use it. What are you at?
Cobbster with 2 R's.
Cobbster.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Cobbster. This is episode 19. So that means next week is our episode 20. And every 10 episodes, we'll do Q&As.
Yeah.
So we'll set up. I got the Gmail already set up for you guys to send us some emails, and I'll be sure to make a Facebook post on HorrorFlix Facebook page. So do us a favor, send us some questions. Go to videocobster@gmail.com and make sure in the title it says Q&A for HorrorFlix or something like that. Just as long as it says Q&A, I'll know what it is. It can honestly be anything you guys want. If you guys want to know some personal stuff about me and Cody, obviously don't ask Cody about his kid. He doesn't like that shit.
Like it, no.
But yeah, ask us anything you want about like recent news stuff. If there was a Netflix movie on a horror film on Netflix that you want us to talk about, anything you guys want to ask us, go ahead and ask us, and we'll talk about it. We'll have a whole Q&A session next week. It'll be a lot of fun. You get to know us a little bit more. We did it on episode 10. 10 episodes later, we're doing it again. So anything you guys want to know, go ahead. Just email us.
Fire it.
And we'll read off your questions, and we'll have a lot of fun doing so. So,
okay.
Yeah, that about wraps it up for us, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. I love you, Cody.
I love you, buddy.
Damn right, bitch. And we will see you guys next week.